This is 89.7 FM. Broadcasting live 24 hours a day. 89.7 FM.
The time has just gone by. It is 25 minutes to 7 p.m. It is a Tuesday, and you're listening to the Business Prize right here on RMR 89.7 FM. It's your boy, MobbJustice. And right now, we're about to get into our studio interview. We have a special guest in the building. We have Duncan. Did I pronounce the surname correctly?
Yeah, you got it right. You
okay.
got it right.
So it's Githiri.
That's correct.
Okay, no, that's fine. Okay. So Duncan is a pilot. You fly with South African Airways.
That's correct.
So maybe you could just give us your journey to becoming a pilot. Let's start off with the usual question. Yeah.
Look, I was very fortunate that I knew what I wanted to do from an early age. So I actually started flying when I was in matric.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate that it's not many 17-year-olds that know what they want to do. So I was just fortunate that I knew that.
Yeah.
And so I did my training in Johannesburg in the Highveld at Rand Airport,
yeah.
a place called Vic's Flight Center. So I finished my 3 years to do my training. And once I finished, I started working on contract. Was working for a company called Solenta Aviation. We were flying cargo DHL aeroplanes in West Africa. And I did that for just under 3 years.
Yeah.
Then I came back. I didn't come back. I was... and then I started flying for SA Airlink. And then from there I moved on to SAA.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long have you been with SAA for?
It's 8 years now.
8 years?
Yeah.
So that gives you about 11, 12 years now?
Working, no. Longer than that. I started working when I was 21.
Yeah.
So that's 15 years ago.
15?
Yeah.
Wow. How many hours do you have? Because I know that pilots usually track hours.
Yeah, that's how your experience is gauged on how many hours that you fly. So I've got, at the moment, just under 9,000 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's taken me 15 years to get this 9,000. So it doesn't come easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you said you always knew what you wanted to do, but do you enjoy it?
Oh yeah, no. I would never do anything else. This is the best job in the world. I mean, I get to do what I enjoy. I get to see lots of different places, meet lots of different people.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm having a great time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Saving the best for the last, I'm just gonna ask, what's your least favorite thing about the job?
Oh, I'll probably say the early mornings.
Yeah.
We've got some very early morning flights. When you want to go to Johannesburg and you want to get there at 8 o'clock, the flight needs to leave PE at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
I need to be at the airport at 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's. But apart from that, there's very little that is. That I can really complain about the job itself.
Yeah.
We get to do a lot of training. So every 6 months we're in the simulator. Your license is only valid until your next test.
Yeah.
So every 6 months we go in the simulator. So it's a lot of studying that you have to do on your own.
Yeah.
So, but so far so good. 15 years later, I'm still here.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And the best part is in that one thing where you can say, okay, fine, this is cool.
Yeah. Look, like I said, I've got in my opinion, I've got a very good job. But it's not every day I go to work and I think, whoa, I've got the great job. But there's just that one day when you're sitting up there and and the stars align and you just think, wow, this is great.
Yeah.
It might happen once every year or once every couple of months, but when it does happen, it makes it all worth it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we are at Rhodes University, and, this is a learning institution. So, how important is education, do you think?
Oh, man, I'm glad you asked me that. I think there's no substitute for education.
Yeah.
You've got to... and I think that's one thing that a lot of young people don't seem to realize. You see all these entrepreneurs who become billionaires overnight, and they think, well, I'll go start up my own company and become that. And it's a fraction of people that become successful in business.
Yeah.
So no matter what you want to do, it must be underpinned by education, a sound education. So without education, your future is not very. You limit your future. Your future prospects are very limited without education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would consider. I would actually consider you to be young. Given some of the people that you come into contact with, you're still a pretty young person, even though you've been flying for 15 years. But I'm sure on a daily basis in your organization, there are even younger people coming in out of university, out of the flight schools, etc. What are they like? Tell us, give a profile for us, the young person that you're seeing out in the industry nowadays.
Well, not to be too specific, but a lot of the young people that I meet today, I'm not specifically talking about my working environment. There's a lot of energy. People have a lot of energy. They've got a lot of drive. But there's a huge misconception as to what the requirements of the real world are. People come out from varsity, and they don't really have a good appreciation of how difficult it really is going to be out there. And when you start working, the expectations are unbelievable. You go there and you're thinking, I've got my degree. I'm gonna show the world what I'm made of, and you're relegated to the substitutes bench purely because you don't have any experience. But those are the realities. Is that, and I think if more young people realize that, that when you go into the work experience, what is expected of you is significantly more than what you think it is. You're required to do a lot of stuff on your own. There's no one's going to be holding your hand and telling you, okay, do this, do that, and the other. You could, if you want to sit in front of your computer the whole day and be on Facebook, no one's going to tell you not to do it. But 3 months later, you're going to be out of a job. So it's that self-discipline that that a lot of people don't seem to get. That no one is going to tell you what is good for your future. You need to decide that beforehand. And like we said, we're in a learning institution, so you need to educate yourself. And I think that's really what it boils down to, is you have to educate yourself. And there's a lot of information out there, so there's no excuse to say that I didn't know or I didn't have the resources.
I like the fact that you speak about the fact that you sort of have to stay on top of your game. You have to educate yourself, because that's it's highlighting two important things. One, you have to sort of stay abreast of what's going on around the world. And two, you are in what I would like to believe is a sort of a high performance type of industry where any mistake on your part could have severe consequences, whether it's a plane crash, whether it's like the stakes are high. So like for you in your own life, how do you stay on top of it? How do you have time for exercise? How do you discipline yourself? Because it's the point of discipline I'm interested in. How do
you have to discipline yourself. You've got to prioritize. Well, what is it that is important? If you're working tomorrow, you don't necessarily have to go out until 2 o'clock in the morning the day before. So it's that self-discipline is. It goes back to the expectation. If you know what people are expecting from you, or what the industry is expecting from you, and the realities of what is being expected, you accept those realities. That it is tough out there. There's, in South Africa we've got the official unemployment is 25%. But it's significantly more than that for the young for the young people, age between 18 and 25.
Yeah.
So if you knowing that if you leave today, there's 10 other people who can do your job.
Yeah.
If that's not motivation enough for you to work hard, I don't know what else is, Yeah, but the opportunities are there, and people have to take them,
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you find balance in your own life? Because you're not just a pilot.
Yes. Yeah. I'm a husband. I'm a dad.
Yeah.
Like I said, you prioritize what it is that is important at that particular time.
Yeah.
If I'm spending time with my family, I need to spend time with them. You cut out all the noise, and I spend time with my daughter as much as I can when I'm at home.
Yeah.
And so that's why sometimes my phone will be off even when I'm at home, and that's a source of frustration for my wife, because she tries to get a hold of me and she can't, and she knows that I'm at home.
Yeah.
But prioritizing is key.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, our time is running out, but there are one or two more questions. And the first one, I like the fact you've brought up the family aspect, and it's a question that we actually asked last week's guest, and it's, I think, something that not a lot of people tend to address, but I think it's worth addressing.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're at that stage in our lives where the next thing is you leave school, then you start a job, possibly get married, and then family, etc. So in terms of choosing a partner, right? Do you have any advice? For the simple reason that
I'm the wrong person to ask for that, because I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I've known my wife since we were 14. So we've known each other. I've known her longer than half of my life,
Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying. You've got to. The person that you're with has to understand what it is that you want out of life. When I say what it is that you want out of life is, what are your expectations when you're with that person? Are you expecting them? If Mudiwa gets a job tomorrow working for CNBC, are you going to follow him to Joburg? It's if she decides no, she doesn't want to go. What happens? Yeah. So you've at this early stage, you need to have a plan of what it is that you want to do in your life and where you see yourself. If you don't have a plan, it's very easy to commit because you don't have a plan of where you want to go.
Yeah.
And like I said, you prioritize what it is that is important in your life, and you say, all right, this is where I want to be in the next couple of years, and the rest will fall into place.
Will fall into place.
Yeah. Do you have a candidate in mind?
Not as such, but I feel like it's important.
Oh, no,
and especially like I said, you're in a high stress type of profession, and you're generally a very busy person.
Yes.
Long days away from home.
Yeah.
Like if you are to fly overseas and stuff. And I think that's something that's important. That you have that person in your life, because they have their own sets of stresses and pressures.
Exactly.
And that coming together. I think these are things that people don't think about, but it's important.
Yeah. Look, as a university student, you already are exposed to high stress situations, because you're expected every year to pass your exams, and you
89.7 FM.